And here you can see I have made a start on my Snapdragons, and here, look, I've cheated. So I've got one tray here. So I put one variety this side and another variety this side, and then a bit of a no man's land in the middle. So on the label, it actually says which is which. I've written on both sides of the label, so I know which side is which. And it just means that I can share even a quarter cell tray. I'll put a lid on that in a moment, and then that can go on a kitchen windowsill. The lid just stops them from drying out in the warm, dry environment of the house. Oh, look at these Snapdragons, aren't they absolutely fantastic? So they're almost ready for pinching out, but I am going to leave them for a little bit longer just to toughen up and photosynthesize. These came in incredibly late, so it's been a bit of a struggle to get them to catch up, but I think I've done it. I think I have. You're going to love these. They're a sample. As I say, I didn't get them to November, so I had to use all of my skills to try and bring them forward so they can go out with the autumn jump starters. I've got some more lovely snaps here to prick out and give them their own cells. Some of them are going straight into 15 cells. They're that big. They look happy, don't they? But they are running out of room. Here, this one, you can see I've used 2 different snaps. And what I've done with this one is I've used the dark one mixed with the white one. So even if I've got the seed in the wrong place, I can actually tell the difference between the varieties, because these have got like a dark veining on them. Anyway, it's very exciting, very exciting. And these have taken like months to grow. So even if your snaps are not as big as this, even if they're tiny, just remember how long it's taken them to grow that big and how much quicker they're going to flower than the ones that you start now. And the ones that you start now are worth it because they will flower after these. The reason I put the labels on the diagonal is, look how easily, so I've just carefully lifted the whole thing out of the tray. But because the labels were here to put a break in the compost, that stopped the roots from knitting together. We had a bit of a no man's land there as well, didn't we? And then look, the whole thing just slides apart, and I can be sure which variety is which. Again, they do look a bit different. I've got no idea. These are another trial. I have no idea why these ones are smaller than these ones. I sowed them on the same day with the same conditions, but there you go. Not all seeds are the same. That's why we do our trials. There you go. I thought so. Straight into a 15 cell tray. That's brilliant. And I've also got my quarter size cell tray ready to do my next round of snaps as well. I'm going to do more of these because they're so fantastic. Now, I'm not going to pinch them out, as I said earlier, not yet. And if you are thinking of pinching yours out because you want to take cuttings, then just be a little bit careful with your mother plant. Now, these have been grown on the hurry up. So can you see that they are actually a little bit tender and a little bit floppy? Now, what that means is if you then use this as cutting material, you might find that this floppy top might wilt before it's had a chance to put down roots. So for the best success, you really want them to be a little bit bigger for cuttings as well. For the best success, you want to toughen your plants up. Just put them outside for a little while during the day. Get them tougher, get the scaffolding, so that when you pinch out that tip is stronger and is more likely to be successful as a cutting. I'm going to water these. Now, these have been pricked out as opposed to potted on. It's different because I've disturbed the roots. I'm going to water them, and then I'm going to put a lid over the top. I'm going to take these back indoors overnight just because it's going to be so cold tonight, and I've just pricked them out. They might not like that. So I'm going to bring them indoors, keep the humidity nice and high with the lid. That will keep the water around the leaves while they're settling, and then I can remove the lid, and then I can bring them down to the greenhouse, start toughening them up, get them a bit bigger, and then I will be able to take cuttings. But if you're ready now, there are plenty of videos on cuttings and pinching out Snapdragons on my website, so you can go and help yourself if you want to. Wow, look at it in here. Absolutely fantastic. Look at all those plants. I'm going to have a quick look-see and see what else needs potting on. today. I've still got my overwintered hollyhocks. These are the ones that we sow in March. Can't believe it. Look at the size of it. Absolutely massive. And then down here I've got all the really hardy annuals. I've never bothered putting any covers on these the entire winter because they're super hardy. These are gorgeous. Sweet rocket. Look at those. So if you see any leaves, I've told you this a million times, but I'll tell you again. If you see any leaves with a little red marking on it, that's a good thing. That means that they have got cold enough to flower well for you. Look at those petite larks though. So you can tell these are the petite because they're really low growing. They've got beautiful foliage, haven't they? They will layer just behind. Oh, I'm so pleased with them all. So I need to get these outside and get them hardened off. That's what we need to do. It's such a beautiful day. I think it's a shame not to use it. So I brought these outside. So what we're doing when we're hardening them off, can you see them moving in the breeze? They've been in a protected environment, so their leaves haven't needed to toughen up and get thicker. And if they're not tough, they lose their water too quickly. So if you get a lot of warm sunshine or if it's very windy, the plants can actually dry out and wilt on you. So what we do is we toughen them up by putting them out in the breeze. That thickens the cuticle, and then they won't lose the water nearly as quickly, and then they won't wilt in the garden. So it's just a process of just doing that slowly and gently so they never get the chance to wilt. And then once they're nice and tough, you'll be able to tell just by looking at the leaves. Once they're nice and tough, then they can go in the garden and you won't have to think about them again. Just literally plonk them, plant them, and leave them to get on with it.